It felt like I was stuck in the,
Like,
and,
this is what I'm meant for.
yeah, and I did dumb shit and evil shit too back then, to be honest with you. And
Like
like,
what?
if I don't want to have, well, yeah, what do you mean? Well, if I don't want to have like sneaks with holes in them, I'm going to sell crack cocaine and heroin on the corner, in Kensington, and I'm not going to have that. And it worked.
Okay.
So now I'm going to do it. I don't know about what I did, but I've seen people killed and murdered in front of me. Um, drive-by shootings, like a lot of. I mean, dude, there ain't really too much I ain't ever experienced, to be honest with you. Uh, you know,
Well, let's
I seen,
backpedal.
yeah. I mean, I'm just,
Let's backpedal just a little bit because we're going to get there in a
yeah.
second. But I wanted to talk about where you were at when you got kicked out.
What are you trying to think? I'm diverting around.
No,
Yeah,
you're not.
nah.
No, because I want to get there with
Yeah.
you. But there's a lot of
So
things.
what? I get kicked out, and
So now you're going to stay with another family. This is your friend from school? Is this?
yeah. I lived with my there was a kid named Gaby or whatever like that I went to school with, and they would let me stay with them. And I stayed with them. I stayed with this another buddy. He played soccer though. He was from like Gene Madison or whatever, and his family was a good family. His mom was like I think the president of Wachovia or something back then, or whatever, or Mellon, whatever it was, bank.
So you're pretty much staying on couch. Like
I'm staying with people. Nah, I mean in the rooms though, like sleeping on the floor or whatever. They were like that. Like they were good people. Like they were good people. Not that the other people weren't either. They helped me, dude. They helped me have shelter over and fed me and all kinds of shit. I didn't know what anybody in the house was saying except him, and his sister, and his brother. But yeah, I was staying with them. They tried to get me signed up for soccer. I didn't want to do that though. Like I wanted to still hang on the corner. I would go in there. I would hang there. You know, yeah. And then when they moved the Harleys on. They were like, "Do you want to go?" And I remember the dad saying to me, "He's like, you want to be a corner boy, don't you? You want to stay on the corner selling drugs and shit." And I was like, "Hey."
So you were already selling drugs.
Yeah.
So then let's backpedal some more.
Well, I mean, at 8 years old, when I got kicked out, I like moved around. I stayed with different people, but as time went on, yeah, I started selling drugs.
So
I started out looking out for people, on the corner, like just making sure the cops
making sure the cops,
and they would just help me out with money because I was a hungry ass little dirty kid.
Right. So how old were you? What came first, the using or the selling?
The using. I started smoking weed and drinking like when I was around the time I got like at 8 years old.
Okay.
Like yeah.
Obviously,
I was an addict from the rip though. I would want to smoke weed all day.
Now I could say this, judging from my experience, that's not something a normal 8-year-old kid would want to do, right? A normal 8-year-old kid, like you said, would want to sit home and play Sega Genesis, right? And I'm not throwing shots.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to get to.
If you say it is what it is. It is fucked
Yeah,
up. Dude, I look at 8-year-old kids now, and I think because when you're in the mix of it all and whatever, but like I looked at like my kids, even like I'm like, damn, dude.
At that age,
yeah, I'm like, oh shit, wow.
Yeah, so
yeah, imagine feeling like nobody wanted you back then. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's
like,
gotta be. I can only imagine. But so like you're staying with these kids, right? I've been around some kids growing up at a younger age, and my mom going, "Nah, I saw him at the park smoking a cigarette," or, I don't want you near that kid. Were you the bad influence, or were there kids that you were staying with that were the bad influence on you?
Well, when the kid that I lived with, the Puerto Rican kid, he went to Puerto Rico and he stayed there for a while for whatever reason that was. Like he had to leave. He went to Puerto Rico. He did something and he had to leave for a little, like a year or two. He left. And then the kid I'm talking about wound up getting killed by the police. He wound up jumping out of a car and trying to shoot at cops, and they killed him. Him and the dude he was with. You know what I mean? But he went to Puerto Rico, and then I moved down towards Kensington and Allegheny area, and then that's when I lived with the family.
Okay.
Like I would stay with them. I would stay with the kid Eddie. Like even though I moved up towards Port Richmond with him, like he lived down there too. That's how I knew that family too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eddie.
McAvoy.
Oh no, I'm thinking it was
Eddie McAvoy. His name was Eddie McAvoy. Yeah, he was a cool dude. He was a cool dude.
All right, so
he is a cool dude. I hope he's alive. I mean, he was a cool, but they let me live with him. Thank you.
So you're watching out for cops. You're starting to get in this street grind, and man, these parents are saying you want to stay on the corner. That's a tough feat, man. So what was your answer to that when Dad said that?
Yeah. when their dad said it to me. Like, he was a good dude too, man. He drew comics for the paper, and I forget what else he did. He was like a carpenter and shit like that. And then the wife worked; she was the bank, worked at the bank or whatever. And I said, I don't want to go. You know what I mean? They even said, like, we'll get you set up with school up there, this, that. Like, it was too late.
They were trying to be. They were trying to help.
They
were trying to be your guardians,
big time.
But when you're in this atmosphere and you're in the thick of things, let's say, you're not thinking like that. You know what I mean? You're not thinking like that. I get it. So now you're on the streets. Now you're looking out for the cops. Now you're selling.
To be honest, that family. What I learned from that family, the Carlins, their last name was. What I learned from them, dude, still sticks with me today. Though, of like, that's where I seen like family values. Like, they were, like the mom and dad. Like, I knew, like, damn, that's how parents, you know what I'm saying, act. Like, that's how, and everybody, and whatever. You know what I mean? All I do want to say is he taught me how to play chess. And then I went to play him. And I was going to beat him, dude, and he quit the game, the father. Motherfucker. But I would have won. He knew I would have won. I was good, dude. I got good at chess. I ain't played in a while. I'll probably get my ass kicked now, but yeah, I was good. And I almost beat him. But
little side note, you know why they started doing like the family sitcoms and everything? Because the demographic of kids that were going through tough times, there wasn't enough good parents back in the day. So they put these TV parents on to show you how family should be, really. You know what I mean? It's crazy how things work like that.
Well, the thing I think is, like, in households, like, even like my buddy Nick, that was just on Facebook Live or whatever, like his mom, his dad, like, he got brothers, stuff like that. Like, they'll all stick up for each other, the brothers. You know what I mean? Like, there's a dude I know, another dude I know, like Marty, like they had like 12 kids in their household. Like, there was people that had like family values. Like, you mess with one of us, you mess with us all, dude. We stand by something, dude. We're loyal to our family. Like, a lot of families back then had coat of arms, like, you know what I mean? Like, their family came from here in Ireland and this and that, like my buddy Jimmy O'Neill. Like a lot of things like that. Nowadays, I think, it's so damn tough, dude, that both parents are out working. You know what I mean? And
it's like definitely
the household's losing that family.
It's tough to do anything without a dual income household right now.
Unless if the one person got a real good job. But yeah, so yeah.
So now, at what point did it become like, I've heard a lot of stories from you, dude. Like, I've heard about you getting put in a trunk and stuff, right? So like shit started the more you stand in that type of atmosphere, the crazier shit you're gonna see. I'm sure you weren't seeing crazy things when you were just looking out for the cops like you would if you were really dealing.
I was watching everything. I seen everything. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't just looking out for the cops. It's also like watching out, making sure nobody's like trying to rob the corner, rob the corner, shoot at people out of nowhere, like, like stuff like that would happen. And, but, I was at work one time, dude, and these dudes pulled up and they put me in the trunk or whatever, and I knew them, but, the car got pulled over, they wind up, the cops let me out, I got back in the car with them, they dropped me back off at work. The boss was like, yo, what are you doing? He was like, dude, you're always like taking bathroom breaks forever. He didn't even know I was going, dude. Like, I was fucking.
So what was you went through grade school, right? Did you go through grade school?
Nah, I dropped out of ninth grade. I went to ninth grade like 3 times, or got assigned to ninth grade 3 times.
So you went into high school at the very least, and then
I walked in maybe.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Were the streets just your full-time thing at that point?
So the corner I hung on at that time was Jasper and Lippincott. So we just beat the shit out of the whole entire mass bomb and had like a war with the whole school. And the kids couldn't go to school.
Jasper and Lippincott today ain't no joke down there.
Jasper and Lippincott wasn't no joke back then.
Yeah.
It was always crazy. I mean,
that's like $1 million block, dude.
What, like a drug selling, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even back, there was like 400 of us down there, tight-knit families and kids that stuck together, you know what I mean? Still to today, like a lot of people died, dude. A lot of people are dead, overdosed in jail, stuff like that. But
so you're drinking, you're smoking weed, watching the block. What happened to the point where I remember when I was a kid, right? Because my mom suffered through addiction and stuff like that too. And I just remember the point where I was first able to try the things that my mom did that I hated, like the cigarettes, the weed, the alcohol, not even getting to the hard stuff yet. And in my head, I remember the first cigarette that was passed to me. I'm like, shit, I'm about to do this. Like, and I'm about to, everything that I stand on, I'm about to throw out the window. You know what I mean? Did you feel that way?
Nah, I felt like there was nothing that I was standing on. I felt like I was in quicksand all the time. Like there was no like, oh, like I knew I shouldn't, because I was a kid. I knew, obviously I knew like, yo, I shouldn't smoke a cigarette or whatever the case may be. But I didn't really care either, because there was nobody really going to tell me.
No.
Even growing up, dude, all the way through, it's like I have a bad problem with that. Like, ain't nobody telling me what I'm going to do, when I'm going to do it. Like, I do what I want. Like a kid, dude, an adult kid, like, and I'm trying to get better with that as time goes on, and I got tremendously better. But yeah, dude, I'm a pain in the ass, dude, sometimes with certain stuff. Like, if I feel like it ain't right and I ain't trying to do it, I ain't doing it, and I get goofy with shit like that. But yeah, I never felt like I never felt like, oh man, yeah, I shouldn't do this, because in the sense of like who's gonna yell at me.
Yeah.
That part was missing. I did have family say like, "Oh, you can't stay here if you're going to do that," and I would be like, I was already used to it. Like, all right, well, I'll grab my stuff and leave.
What about the friends after your mom said you got to go? Like, were your friends' parents saying that? Like, listen, you can't be doing the things you're doing and stay here.
No, because like at that time is when they were leaving, and then I was like, I would stay with families that like I lived in a house where there was like probably 6 kids on the run, like from
Okay.
St. Gabe's, Glen Mills, Slayton Farms, like the whole neighborhood. There were like a lot of kids that I grew up with were like on the run from like juvenile placement, and we were all doing bad shit. You know what I mean? We were all doing bad stuff, dude. Everybody, the whole neighborhood. But I lived with them, and their family, like, they did illegal stuff. The kids, we just did whatever
They
we
understood the
We did
assignment.
whatever we wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, we would check an advisory and just go back home.
So, what was the point where you either A, started selling the harder stuff or doing the harder stuff? What did you do first? Did you sell?
I sold the harder stuff first.
Okay.
I sold the harder stuff first, and then when I was around 14 years old, like I went back to where my mom, lived or whatever like that, and then I found my brother dead in the back room. After I found him dead in the back room, it just fucked me up. Like, I didn't
How did
talk.
he pass away?
He overdosed. And after that happened, like, dude, I didn't talk. Like, you know what I mean? It bothered me. Like, I would say stuff, but like I wouldn't really talk. I didn't have nothing much really to say. You know what I mean? I was just thinking a lot, and that's where my thinking about everything kind of like excelled more in my brain. Like, thinking things through, why is this, that, like thinking about life. But at that time I started also, instead of just smoking weed, I started smoking PCP, and I started taking Xanax. So not long after that, when I was 14, I went to Keystone for the first time. So I want.
So your first hard drug was what? Xanax?
PC, yeah, I guess. Is that
okay?
PCP,
like hand in hand.
Yeah,
PCP and Xanax.
That's pretty hard, right?
That's extremely
PCP
hard.
Pretty hard.
I would assume so.
Yeah. But yeah.
And you're doing them hand in hand. You pretty much started them both at the same time, or
PCP then Xanax.
Okay, and you were making cocktails between the two.
Like, I was whacked out.
Yeah.
The first time I did it, I slept on the step for like 8 hours.
14, right?
Yeah.
Did you immediately know it was a problem?
Nah, I thought I was like just doing whatever I wanted to, like I always do, and I'm like, what with the Xanax though, that's when it got bad to where like I'm like, I'm like, nobody wanted me to like live with them, like the parents, because it's like, yeah, you're out of control. So, and then I had people like I would go around that were like, oh, you need help. So the first rehab I was 14 years old. I was dating this girl, our family actually, on Somerset Project. Billy Miller, the dude's name was, and he at Kensington and Cambria, and I went there, and I'm like, yo, I need help, like all crying and shit. And he's like, all right, shut the fuck up, sit right there, dude, I'll help you. Like that. He was that type of dude. Serious, you want help, you're gonna get it. I'm gonna send you here. You're gonna shut up. You're gonna tell him that you're suicidal and you got a problem. I want the Keystone.
In Chester.
In Chester, yeah, which is ironic, dude. Like all the shit that I've been through, and now what I do it's ironic, dude. It's just nuts to where my life led to where I'm at now. Like I went to Keystone when they took adolescence. They haven't took adolescence, and
So you were 14 years old in a well, this is I guess this is before drugs and mental health were like it's a dual diagnosis facility and stuff, right?
where
This was
Keystone,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, well, people have mental, like anybody that I think does drugs has mental problems.
but it wasn't broadcasted back then. It was just you're either a drug addict or you're not. Like it's not back.
Nah, I mean, yeah, people were back then. You couldn't get into treatment, so like you would have to say you were suicidal back then because like
Yeah,
BHSI wouldn't take you, so you had to say that, like kind of like it was weird. Like everybody was like, "Oh, I'm suicidal," just to get in.
sure.
And then once they were in, then it was you talk to your counselor, therapist.
How many? What was your stay there? How many days? Do you remember?
28.
28.
I think 28.
Was that your first rehab?
First rehab.
Was that your only?
Nah.
No. Okay.
Nah. I've been
So-
at tons of.
So you get out of Keystone. What was your mind like getting out of Keystone? Was it like, yeah, I really want to do this, or was it like, all right, thank God I'm out of here?
Nah, the first go, I was like, all right, yeah, now I'm off it. You know what I mean? They told me to go to rehab. I went to rehab. I get out of rehab. I'm like, all right, now I'm off the drugs. Now I'm feeling like I'm somebody. Because now I'm not that dude that everybody's looking at all messed up. And then I go to a meeting because they say that shit. They've been saying that forever, dude. Go to a meeting, get on group, get a sponsor. They've been saying it forever because it's
Since
the way.
1930.
It's the way, bro. You know what I mean? It's the way it is. That's it. You can go around it. You can not do it. You can do whatever
Yeah.
you want to do, but it's the way. So I go into the meeting and I walk right out. I'm like, I ain't doing this dumb shit. Like
You remember what meeting it was?
Yeah, it was at Samuel's Rec at Goal in Tioga.
Okay.
So I walked in there. I said, I'm out of here, dude. I ain't doing this dumb ass shit. These people are weird. They're drinking coffee, and I left. And then about, 2 years later, whatever it was, I went back to Keystone again, adolescent. You know what I mean? And I was the last adolescent that they took. One left, and I was the only one in the whole building by myself. They had a whole floor with just me on it and shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was a goofy kid. Like the room I was in had 4 beds, and I would bounce around to each bed and shit like that.
Yeah.
The problem is too, though, is around the time I went back, though, it wasn't that I was just doing drugs. I started robbing people. So that's I was a thief, dude. I would rob people.
Comes hand in hand with the
And
territory.
the people that I was around would rob people, and we enjoyed taking people's stuff and not earning a good living. You know what I mean? And I'm saying that because of what I do now. Bottom line is this, though, is that I would hurt people and try to take their shit. And at first, it was more the people I was with that were the dangerous people. Because I was a kid still. But I was down to do whatever we were about to do at that time. You know what I mean? And then as years went on, though, is when I, as far as the way, looking back on it, I'll say it about I was a piece of shit. At that time, I was a piece of shit because people that do stuff like that are pieces of shit.
So, but I mean, like
It's true.
it goes as far
You
back.
can't justify it.
I'm not.
You know
What I'm saying is this though. You've seen the movie Bronx Tale, right? Like there are criminals out there who groom kids into being that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You're only as good as the people that you surround yourself with, and if you're a kid, you don't know better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I liked it.
Sure, of course.
I mean, who don't like grabbing a lot of money for free?
Yeah.
There's adults out there right now that might view this like, dude, I stole. You know what I mean? But when you take it to another level, and not saying I did because, but if I'm tying people up and taking their shit and degrading a guy like a man, and I take all his manlyhood away by like basically he's harmless, like, helpless. That fucks with a guy's head.
Sure.
Now the game is the game. I didn't really do too much to people that weren't doing something wrong. Well, maybe I did, but I'm saying usually it was somebody that was doing something wrong at the same. That don't justify it though. I was still a piece of shit. You know what I mean? And I know that because if I don't know that, how am I going to not do it no more? If I don't feel like I'm a piece of shit, then I feel like I'm an alright guy. If I feel like I'm an alright guy and I'm doing shit like that, dude, then I'm just doing it.
Yeah.
So I gotta look at it the right way it is, because if not, then I'm telling myself it's okay to do it, and it ain't.
Now, you so how long did this go on for before you Well, let me ask you like this, because I didn't want to get into this subject like this, but before or after the drill rig incident, the oil rig incident,
Well, it
when did
wasn't an
you,
oil rig. It was,
or
yeah,
whatever.
I'll tell about it.
Yeah,
But
but
that's like
before or
way
after that incident, did you decide to get your life put together in recovery?
No.
It was before.
Yeah,
Okay,
before that
so
happened to me, yeah, I was involved in my recovery.
all
Like,
right,
you know, that was this time. Like I
that's
was
all I
12,
need to know about that right now, because I'll get to there in a second.
He got his
So
shit mapped out in his
you know what
head.
I mean? It's there.
Yeah.
Uh,
The thing is, dude, is we ain't doing nothing anyway. We ain't got nothing written down.
It's
So
all off the
yeah,
top,
that's what I'm
dude.
saying. Though I wanted to be
Freestyling
honest.
this.
Well, I wanted to be honest like that though,
Yeah.
because I ain't trying to fucking pretend and make up shit to say. Like I want people to know me for who I am and event hopefully in the, you know, the shit that I do stand by, coming from a household with no morals and standards and none of that shit, to me standing by a lot of shit, dude, that I believe in and I stand by. And that's who I am today. But from trial and error, dude, which that's what I like this doing this because, you know, it's better to learn from other people's mistakes. I learned from a lot of trial and error. Somebody might be able to watch us and be like, oh, damn, dude, I ain't going to do that because I heard this dude. I ain't trying to go down that road. That's important, especially if it's younger viewers, like people that are young. There's people that are coming into recovery younger, and you know they're getting younger and younger.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, is if they ain't got to go through even a quarter of what I went through, dude, then that's perfect. You know what I mean? Like that, and that's why, you know, I do everything I do. Like,
I
really.
think, and I think it's important to not map these questions out prior. There was one of the guests, I think it was Sammy actually. Shout out Sammy Abruzzi was,
Sammy Abruzzi Electric.
you know,
Call him up. He's a great electrician.
yeah, and he was like, "Hey, you know what questions you're going to ask?" And it was like, "Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure we could go over it with them, but the truth is it's better to ask the questions straight up because you get an organic answer that way."
Well, Sammy, dude, got the most views. I don't know if it's because of that Frozen shit, dude, or whatever you were about to do.
Bro. I thought you were about to lay the pipes,
Well,
man.
he said
like,
no renditions today. I was like, all right, dude, take it easy. No, I'm only kidding. No, but
but
Sammy's a good dude.
So did you touch? All right, so I guess you go back to treatment, right?
Yeah, I'm in Keystone again, and you know, I'm there, and I'm like, damn, how'd I get back here again? See, that's where rehab. That's when shit gets funny. Like, I believe when you go to rehab, like after you know, but it is good to get off of the street so you're not close to be able to, you know, buy drugs and get high on drugs and stuff like that. At least, you know, that's how I look at it now. When people are like, they'll be like, dude, but what are they going to teach me? It's not about it's about just like detoxing, getting off of the shit, getting back on the horse. You don't lose the knowledge that you have when you're sober. You know what I mean? Like when you're going to meetings or whatever. But you need a break. You know, you obviously something made you use again. You know what I mean? So I'm back at Keystone and I'm thinking to myself, damn. Because when I got out of Keystone the first time, I thought I had everything under control. But I obviously didn't. I wound up using. I went back harder. I think when I went back again, I was like 17, about to turn 18, and I think I was doing coke at that time. So now I'm doing
Snorting coke.
Yeah, so you're snorting it. So like I'm, you know, now it was weed, drinking. Then it goes from just weed, no drinking, just weed to PCP and Xanax. Then I get out of Keystone for the first time, and now I'm doing weed, Xanax, dust, coke. You know, and it's like, then I, you know, and then I wind up getting put on parole after I got like out, you know, I turned 18. I got locked up many times, but I turned 18. I get locked up. I'm on parole probation, and I stopped the weed.
You mind telling me what you got locked up for? Do you mind?
What? When I was 18, I got locked up for attempted murder, intent with a deadly weapon, and aggravated. So like they put all them charges when you first get locked up. And then 11 days later, I got locked up for selling narcotics. I beat one case, obviously the important case to beat, and then got found guilty on the other one. And I was on parole and probation for like, I did like 7 days and they let me out of Tarrant County parole and probation. And I was on it for like 10 years, dude. So I was like, yeah, it was nuts. So I was like 28 years old or something like that.
Yeah. Wow.
That was a day. Yeah.
So
that's what happens when you yell at the DEA agents and shit like that and tell them that you can suck my acting all cool and shit. And they're like, dude's like, I'm going to get you, dude.
You remember their names?
No, I had no clue who the DEA agents are.
I was going to say
shout out. Nah, shout out to motherfuckers that grabbed me over the round and slammed me on my neck. They slammed the shit out of me. And then when I went to court, though, they had this like dude, like Poindexter with glasses on. He was like, I was approximately like 100 yards away. See, like they were recording the whole shit that was going on in the corner I was on. But yeah, so I was dead guilty. Like there was no way around it. Like I was guilty. Everybody was guilty. It wasn't just me. They locked up. They rounded up like 30 of us out.
How many times you been to rehab?
Dude, I don't even know. Dude, I've been to Charter, Fairmount, I think twice, Keystone twice, Mercy, Miramont, Malvern, Kirkbride. I stayed at Kirkbride, like a jail stint for like 4 months. I was at Kirkbride twice too. But the second time I was like long-term treatment. I was there for 4 months. I got out and relapsed right away.
I've never been to Miramont, but I've been to every other one.
I was on a methadone clinic. I went to Dr. Summers for Suboxone, got all juiced up on that shit. For me, it didn't work. Nothing worked because I was an addict and I just wanted to get obliviated. I didn't want my brain to think about everything that I didn't want to think.
Did you ever smoke coke?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like a wild Indian, bro.
Yeah.
Like a choo-choo train.
Yeah.
I'm only kidding. I'm just fucking around trying to make people laugh. But yeah, I did though. I smoked coke with my mom, with my mother. You know what I mean? That was one of the greatest memories I ever have with my mom in life. Honestly, I'm not saying that to be funny or make people be like, huh? I was a kid, dude. And she was like, do you want to try this? And I sat there all day smoking with her.
How old?
Young. I don't know. Young. I was a kid. But yeah. And I smoked with my mom and I smoked with my mom. But we were laughing, busting up. This is a lady that looked at me and said, I love you because you're my son, but you're the fucking pure devil. Like something's wrong with you. Because I was an asshole, dude. I was an asshole. I was like, the house that she would stay at, they broke her window one time, shot the door. Like, my cousin had to bail me out one time because they were looking for me because I robbed everybody in the neighborhood. My best friend, he got locked up for bank robbery. He passed away. God rest his soul. My boy Richie. But he was crazy. He definitely he would do everything with me, dude. He was my right hand man.
When did it turn around? At what point were you like, dude, I got to take this seriously, and I don't want to be this person anymore? I think I could dig myself out of this rut. I want to go to work. I want to work a regular job.
Well, I worked though. I did work too, though.
I know you did.
Yeah, I worked for this Jewish guy. His name was Ira, and he taught me how to lay carpet, tile, hardwood floor, stuff like that. And I was young, and the guy would deal with all my bullshit, dude, all the shit that I would go through. And but it came to a point where I was getting locked up, and he was like, "Dude, I'm not taking you back no more. I'm sorry." You know what I mean? Like I can't do it no more. But he was a good dude. He taught me a lot of stuff too, like that family. Like there were certain things that he would say to me that like always clicked to me still to today. Like you know what I mean? But I did work. The problem was, like, dude, there wasn't enough money. There was not enough money the way I used ever. Anytime I ever used, I used until I burnt everything out, dude. There was nothing left. You know what I mean? And everybody's like that. That's it. I got sober before fentanyl came out, though. You know what I'm saying? Like when fentanyl hit the street, I was already sober. So pretty much though, I get locked up and all. I'm going to treatment. I'm going to the methadone clinic. I get out. I'm on parole, probation. I keep violating. I keep getting warrants put on me. I keep going away for say 30 days, 3 months, shit like that. When I was 23, I got kids, 2 kids. One time I was in jail while the one was born. So I go to Kirkbride, I get out. I'm in there for 4 months. I get out and I forgot my paperwork, dude. I'm almost up there. I ain't got the paperwork. You can't get dosed if you don't have the paperwork. I feel like I'm ready to be stuck on methadone. And I went to Kirkbride to get off it. They want to take me off it. I call, they say you need the paper. But it's a holiday weekend. It's July 4th weekend. We'll be open Monday. I tried to last it out, dude. I wind up getting high again.
What were you getting high on at this point?
Heroin. So I tried to last it out, dude. The methadone, I was sick as shit, dude. And my sister, she was alive then. My sister overdosed and died. She let me lay on her floor. I got up, dude. After like 7 days, I said I gotta go, and I wind up getting messed up. I called my parole officer. It was one of the greatest things I ever did, though. And this is the truth. I called my parole officer. I'm like, yo, cursing at her, saying bad shit, like terrible shit, and then I hang up. You know what I mean? And all right, so finally I'm strung out again. I sell my food stamps. I'm on welfare and shit. I saw my food stamps. Go buy, a bundle. Do it. It don't work. It's not good. It's bad, bro. So she got me all right. I mean, but I go in. I go in. She goes, "What are you doing?"